Welcome to Working Title with Jared Never Sleeps. I have a very distinguished guest on the show today, Mr. Hansome Kelly. He's a full-time trader, investor, young black entrepreneur doing his thing. Hansome, thanks for the interview today. How you doing today?
Thanks for having me, man. I'm doing pretty good. Having a good day. Good day in the markets. It's dropping.
Yeah. So I'm not too savvy on investing. I do a little bit here and there, but
okay.
For those who don't know, when the market drops, I know a lot of people just kind of get scared. So what does that mean for you? What does it mean when the markets drop? So how's it a good
so
day?
when the market drops, that's an amazing day, right? Because what you're doing, you're catching things on sale. So pretty much think about it like this, right? Investing, especially with the market as well, it's a future investment discount at the current price. So now let's say if the current price is 10 and then the price drops down to, let's say 7, obviously it's on sale, right? You have it $3 off because in the future it's going to surpass 10. So that's more of it. So whenever you have these days, you have a lot of people who really don't know what they're doing. They're over there panicking, pulling their money out, which is not the right thing, right? What you should do when you have these days, you invest more money, then in the future, obviously going to make more. And that's the reason why you do have some situations in which an individual, like let's say the price dropped from 10 to 7, they pull out at 7, and the next thing you know, in like a few weeks, it goes to like 12, and they're like, "Damn, I wish I would have left my money in there." So that's what's going on. So it's a beautiful day today.
It's a beautiful day, right? That's the one thing I always preach. Always like look for opportunities, even when it's like if it's raining, you sell raincoats, right? Or you sell rain
100%.
boots. So let's backtrack a little bit. How did you really? Well, matter of fact, how do we know each other? When did we meet?
Man, it's been years. Like officially, I know we were. Well, I was in this network marketing company, and you were like really big in it.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, like from there, it's so funny because I really used to watch your video. Like you had a video, and I watch it literally every single day, and it actually helped me out. I had a lot of personal referrals from that. But yeah, it was that was it. Just pretty much network marketing, and then run into each other, and then exchanging that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like funny how it's come full circle because I remember every single day I would watch a video, a 7-minute video about it, and then from there I would go and just do my thing.
That's the you talking about that video sales letter I had? Like it was
yes.
And that thing went viral before we knew what viral even was. That went crazy.
It was something.
That was everywhere.
You've been in the game for a while.
What I love about that particular network marketing company is now like fast forward, because I think that was like 6 or 7 years ago now.
Oh yeah.
And everyone's just doing extremely well. I think the hub was kind of like that whole culture we started like 7 years ago, and now everyone just kind of shining, like everyone got their glow up. So it's really cool.
Like, and it shows too that there's no such thing as overnight success. Like we all put in the work from years ago, and now we're all shining because of the work we've done years ago. So it's the beauty of it though.
Mm-hmm. So you did network marketing, you tried network marketing. What particularly got you into trading? Like how'd you get started with that?
Funny story. I actually got into trading by accident. I always wanted to be an investor. So since I was a young kid, I would like watch New York One with my mom before she take me to school, and they would speak about Warren Buffett. So at that time, Warren Buffett was the richest person in the world. I knew again from New York One that he got his money from investing. So in the stock market. So that's something that I studied, but I didn't really truly study. I just look at it from time to time, but I knew that I wanted to be like Warren Buffett. I wanted to be an investor. So fast forward, I actually started network marketing, mainly to get the income and the capital I needed to go into stocks. Once, I started doing good with that, I started following a lot of my uplines on Facebook. I figured success leaves clues. So like if he or she is above this person, they know something that my upline don't know at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran into an individual, and he would post a lot of, I thought it was stocks, a lot of like stock pictures, in different charts. That at that time, that's what I thought it was, but actually Forex. So I see he just kept posting it over and over and over and over. So I'm like, this guy is into the stock market. This is something I actually want to do. Let me go, see exactly what he's doing. So I asked him, what is he doing? He told me that he's doing foreign exchange or Forex. I'm like, bro, what is that? So he actually, put me into it. And then long story short, got access to a lot of different courses, a lot of, trial and error, finally found out what worked for me, stay consistent with that, worked on my mindset more. And then now I'm here.
So let's talk about Forex for a second, because I was talking to someone yesterday, and they asked me, "Is Forex real?" Which I was I was actually surprised, like how so many people still don't really know what Forex actually is. So
Right.
if you can break down what exactly is Forex.
Oh yeah, real quick. So Forex, it stands for foreign exchange. It's just short for that. So an easy example is this. Let's say if you ever travel to like Europe, right? Let's do that. If you travel to Europe, obviously, once you're in the airport, you can't use your dollars. You have to use their currency, and their currency is a euro. So when you get down there, you're gonna see things that say currency exchange. That right there is Forex. So you go to the stand, you exchange your money for their money, right? Let's say you exchange $1 and you get back, let's say 50 euros. You'll get back, well, 50 cents of euros. Let's just say that, right? That's foreign exchange. Now, let's say in a few days you go back and you do the same exact process. You exchange your dollar for euros, and now instead you get, let's say, 45 cents of euros, right? That 5 cents difference right there, you can make a lot of money in that. So what we're doing as traders, we're trading that percentage, and it happens all the time across the world. Like Forex is the most lucrative market in the world. As of today, we're over $6 trillion. Compared to like the stock market, which daily revenue is around like 30 to $35 billion. So you have one is like a billion, one is like a trillion.
Wow.
So that's like
it's huge difference.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
So okay, so basically with Forex, you just it's the same principle of like buying high, selling low. You're just kind of exchanging like you said, euros for a United States dollar, and you're just kind of like keeping the difference or trading the difference.
That's what you're doing. You're trading the actual difference for it. Now, the best thing about and the benefit is that it's unlike the stock market, like you can buy and sell whenever without having to worry about like a particular capital that's needed in your account, right? So then you have high leverage, you have a low overhead that you can actually go into it. So I feel that's what made trading more common and more popular to the everyday person. The fact that now you have the ability to, trade with little capital, unlike the stock market, trade with little capital, make a nice, chunk of money, and you can do this 24/7, right? So you can be at a club 2 a.m. You pull out your phone, you actually take a trade, and you can make some money. So it's like that's going to give you more opportunity to actually go and dance and have some more fun.
Wow. So you can kind of just really be working on around the clock, really just trading.
Yeah. So people call it a 24/7 market, but in reality, it's actually 24/6 because you're technically not allowed to trade on Saturdays. But besides that, it's a 24/6 market, and then it's open. So you can just trade as long as you see opportunity, you can just open and make some money. You have the ability to make some money.
Wow, that's awesome. So, okay, so what is the difference between like Forex trading and investing?
Right. So that's a great question. For starters, there's a difference between trading and investing overall. But when it comes to actually Forex trading, and let's say like individual investing, again, you're trading based off of not an actual company, off of a currency. So it's less things that are affected when it goes about moving. Like you have, let's say with a company, you could do inside trading, those type of things. You can't really do that with actual Forex. It's more so based on the country. Now you do have countries in which like the individual, like the president, the prime minister, or even a central bank, they can manipulate the things that they're doing with their interest rate. They can lower it, raise it. And obviously that would affect, the global market, especially on how that market is being traded. Again, you can't do that with the stock market nor investing. Mm-hmm. So the thing is that you're trading a market, or the currency, with the accumulation with the assumption that one currency would outvalue the previous one or the other one. And the great thing about it, again, it's like, it's a different exchange of like cents, right? You're not going to be exchanging for it's not going to be $1 difference. It's highly unlikely because that's going to happen over time. It could take, years, or even decades for that to happen. But again, it's the percentage that you're trading against. Unlike investing, you're just like in and out, for the decades to come.
So, okay, would you say like is one harder than the other, or what do you think is like the best one to get into first? Or do you get into
trading
both?
Or investing, or just what?
Like Forex trading, or like stock trading.
So I recommend that Forex is more easier to get into. Stock is more tunnel vision, right? Because Forex, there's so many things that comes into it, right? You have to know like interest rates. You have to know, the GDP of a market, those type of things, which is fundamentals, which is just news that affects the way the direction the market is going. Now with stocks, it's different. You're limited to like 9:30 to 4:30 till you can actually go about trading it. Again, so it's like it's very limited things that can happen within that time span. Again, within Forex, you have a 24-hour market that's like so much can happen at 2 a.m. that can affect what's going to happen with the currency for like, let's say like the previous day or the upcoming day. So when it comes to it, Forex trading is easier to get into. Stocks is more so like just one direction based or one tunnel based. So for the person who's listening, I mean, obviously I'm a Forex trader. Well, I'm a day trader. I'll trade more than just Forex, but I do recommend Forex first and then run from there. You can actually expand it. Because once you can read a market and trade that, you can read any other market as well. The only difference is what actually moves that market.
Yeah, I think with me is like I just never was I know you can make a lot of money with it. I just never was like fascinated with like looking at charts all day. Yeah, that's just kind of like I'm too ADHD to look at charts all day.
Right. And the thing about it is that like you don't have to look at a chart 24/7. That's also something that we get passed down, but it's actually a myth. Like the best traders, what we do, we focus on being in for a little bit of a moment. Like we're not trading from like 9 a.m. to like 5 p.m. Right? We may have a trading hours for like maybe an hour out of that whole time, so maybe even like 30 minutes. Once you see a setup, take your setup. Right? It's just like that's actually your plan. Your plan goes into setup, just like playing sports. Right? If you're not just going to take any type of shot. You have a setup going to play. You have practice. You practice shot over and over and over and over. So like, all right, if this is how we're going to do our offense, pick and roll. These are things we do. You're not just going to like bounce the ball, just automatically go for like a shot. That's backwards, right? So once you have that set, now you can actually move forward. So once your opportunity sets and present itself, you enter it. If you make profit, good. You have a great day. You're done for the day. Like myself, I mean, I spend minimal time in the charts. Like minimal time. So it's not as if I'm on it 24/7 because at the end of the day, you're really just watching rectangles, form. Right. And that's like,
right. Okay.
It's like watching paint dry. It's pretty much boring.
Yeah. It's super boring, especially if you don't know really how to read it. I'm just looking at lines. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to look at it. I've never looked at it like that. It's just kind of like if you're playing sports, you run the play, right? Or you see like, oh, I've seen this play before. I've seen this materialize. So you just hit your shot when you see your shot. Essentially.
Yeah.
So, and you've been trading for how long?
Now it's going on 5 years. I've been full-time for 2. So yeah.
Okay. And what did you do to kind of like you realized you kind of were getting good at it? Like what was the process? What was the shift for you when you were like, all right, I'm starting to get really good at this?
Well, for starters, I had beginner's luck. And I didn't realize I had beginner's luck until I want to say like a year into it. So literally I was like, I could have been closing my eyes and clicking buy and I make some money. Right? It was really, I did not know what I was doing. I thought I did at that time, but I actually did it. I want to say it took me, I went dead broke. I went dead broke a few times. Well, it was the last time like I truly went dead broke. I was driving Uber at that time, making sure I had capital needed to actually fund my account. But one day I was just like, I was in the car. I remember this. I was in the car parked up and I was like, just like angry. I was crying, saying to myself, like, I'm done. I can't do this no more. I'm losing too much money. The thing is that I saw so many people making a lot of bread with this. So like, I'm saying to myself, like these guys, I'm smarter than a lot of people, like if I'm smarter than someone who they make it like 10, 20, 30 times, what I want to make. Like, it's like, what am I doing wrong? So at that time, I remember I was in the car, I had my iPad set, and then I just saw like a chart formation. So I saw a double top coming, right? So from there, I took it. I woke up a few hours later, and I was up like $1,200, $1,500 in profit. And then from there, I said, I can do this. And that literally changed everything for me. So I from there, I like studied every single person I saw. I watched almost every video, every podcast, I would stay up, especially I was driving Uber at that time to make some money. My schedule was this. I would wake up at 6, I'll go drive, I come back home around like 11, I would shower again, eat, I'll be on the charts. I'm back out there around like 6, and then I'll do that until like 12. I'll come home, I'll stay on the charts, and I'll probably go see around like 4, take a nap. I wake back up at 6 and I'm on it again. Like I was I was putting so much time into this because I was like, it's too many people I see making money. I got to be one of those people.
That's what I love about entrepreneurship today is that we have so many opportunities. Like, you can go and drive Uber to kind of fund your your entrepreneurship endeavors. And it's just nice to kind of have those cushions as opposed to like having to go out and because looking for a job or something like that. It's a lot of work to look for. That's a whole other job to look for a job.
It's more stuff that comes with it. Like for me, I jumped out the window. I don't want to say too soon, but I jumped out the window not really knowing what was going on, right? So, we hear entrepreneurship is pretty much like it's jumping off a cliff and building a plane down.
Yeah,
I don't
not
really
sexy.
I don't really think that's true. I think more so it's about jumping off the cliff, but measuring the distance from your jump to the actual floor, right? Because when you measure that distance, if I jump off this cliff right now, let's say I have like, I got 30 hours before I hit the ground, right? Unless you're just jumping off, you're like, hey, what happened? That's what I did. So because of that, I was working backwards. And a lot of times I would like play catch up to what's actually going on. So, for those who are listening, if you plan on jumping, jump strategically. Don't just jump just because it's like someone's telling you that entrepreneurship is great. You just want to jump. It is great though.
Yeah. See, that's the risk assessor in you. And that's probably why you're good at trading because you know how to assess risk. Because I've heard that quote a million times, and no one asks like, all right, well, how big is the jump?
Oh yeah, you have to.
That matters.
You can, 100%. You don't want to be the person who just like again, like it took me a longer than expected because I had to build from. I was at 0 and then I went to negative numbers. I'm like, damn, I didn't know I was gonna hit this. So I'm building from negative.
And that was from trading. That was from trading.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Trading just overall, like I jumped thinking I had everything set, like I have all this money set aside. I think I jumped, I had like 2 paychecks in my name at that time. So the good thing about it is I was living at home, and that really helped me out.
And what were you doing before Uber? What was your last job?
My last official job, I was working at after school program at the school in New York. So that was my last official job. And I remember it too. Like I got to that job. The actual day I started was Wonder Woman 1 came out. Right. I remember Wonder Woman 1 came out. Me and my former boss, we actually just finished watching the movie. We're still good friends to this day. We finished watching the movie. And then from there, it was like, I'm out. He understood in all that as well, though. It wasn't like, I'm not going, but yeah.
And the rest was history.
Yeah, it's good though, but it comes with a lot of grind. And as you said, entrepreneurship, it's not sexy. It's like it's things that we see all the glory, that social media paints and that, but we don't see the behind the scenes, like the sacrifice that's need to be made. And I don't think that you need to lose sleep every night, but I feel like you need to put some consistency into what you're doing, right? You got to obviously go over your numbers. You need to go over, what it's actually going to take for you to get to the level you want to get to. If that's reading more books, is that finding a mentor, if it's that, taking more classes, is that, cutting back on, your spending. All these things is needed for you to actually get to your goal. Because if you're just going to think it's going to be sweet the days all the time, you're in for a rude awakening.
Okay. And I completely agree with that. You really have to prepare, but I think even preparing is just really going on that journey and making those iterations that you need to make to get to the next level.
Oh yeah.
You can't do better unless you know better, right?
Right, 100%. Like you're going to fail.
You're going to fail. Just accept that you're gonna fail.
And that was the hard part. Sorry to cut you off. That was the hard part. Like accepting that I'm going to fail. Like, because once no one wants to fail, right? And then once you do fail, you're saying to yourself, you have these bad thoughts. I'm a loser. I can't move forward. And then once you understand that, wait a second, I'm growing from my mistake, right? Because that's the thing. You made these mistakes, but now you're going to grow from it. Like, okay, I know which road not to take. All right, now I know, like me going left, I'm going to hit a pothole. Let me not go left no more. Let me actually make the right. Right now you make a right, you're driving down, and then it's like you're going 60 miles an hour, and then the police could pull up. Right now, you get a speed ticket. Let me not do 60 around this time, right? So if you go around the block again, let me do 40 now. Let me keep my pace and then you move forward. So it's just learning as you go, as you said. That's all.
Yeah. Like life is just kind of the experience of life is always the best teacher.
Oh yeah.
And if you could go back right now, the man you are today, you can go back 5 years to the kid that was learning how to be a full-time trader, how to invest. What advice would you give to that kid?
I would say focus on your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
I'm big on
biggest
that.
thing you
Yeah.
can do. Focus on your mindset. Because even trading, like trading is extremely simple. We complicate it as as humans, because that's just what we are, right? We have our emotions, fear of missing out, your risk, which is too much size. And at the end of the day, it's like these things can be avoided if you just focus on your mindset. Right. It's like even with emotion, it's like it's funny because we trade as if there's no tomorrow, but in reality, there's a tomorrow. So like even myself, like, sometimes I miss out on, big plays. And it's like it happens. Right now, I'm gonna catch the next play. Just like the what did Gucci Man say? Buses, miss one, next 15, another one come. It's just like that. If you miss an opportunity, you're gonna catch another one, right? It's not as if the market's gonna close today. Now, if the market closes today, then it's like go all out, just like risk it all, but that's not the thing. So it's like, why put yourself in that predicament to go about doing so?
So when you spoke about mindset, what areas of mindset did you really focus on to get where you need to be?
Confidence. Mm-hmm. Confidence, that was key. At that time, everyone, they feel they're confident until it's actually, your confidence has to show itself, right? And that's when failure comes to play, because again, you're going to fail. So the confidence in me has to get that down packed. Next thing I want to say is just understanding that, it's not going to happen overnight, right? So we see all these things about like, flip $100 into $1,000, and I've done things like that before. It's possible, but it's not common, right? So it's like the average individual, they see that in there. That's one thing I don't like about social media, because it's like they're preying on someone's ignorance, right? So it's like the average individual, if you're struggling right now, you see someone just flipped $100 into like 1,000, you're gonna say to yourself, man, I'm gonna do the same exact thing, right? So you're gonna put your $100 into it, and then the next thing you know, you blew it. So understanding that, like, again, it's going to take time. It's not gonna happen overnight, and you have to get comfortable with understanding that it's not gonna happen overnight, right? You can't just think or believe it. You have to actually get comfortable with the experience that it's not going to happen. Because again, the step-by-step, day-by-day process, that's really what's going to turn you to the individual that and the person you actually want to become.
So now my question is, because obviously confidence is very important in business, but for those who don't have results, for those who are taking their L's in life, where does the confidence come from when you don't really have the anything to be confident about?
That's a great question. And what you want to do when those things happen, you want to focus on the small wins, right? It could be making up your bed. That's a small win. It could be taking the trash out to save yourself, time for the future. That can be a small win. Or even just cooking dinner and it was good. That's a small win. Something that builds your confidence up. Because again, as you said, you're not gonna always get that, especially if you're saying yourself, oh, I'm always losing. But in reality, are you really always losing? Or are you just allowing yourself to only look at the things that you're losing at and not the things that you're winning at?
Gem dropper. So you're going more toward the gratitude of life. Like, okay, this trading, investing thing might not be working right now, but I'm breathing, I'm healthy, I got a roof over my head, or I got some money in my pocket, or I got a bank account, whatever the case might be.
Those little things that'll help you along your journey. Because once you get that set, now you can be mindful of not just tunnel vision, but be mindful of the entire picture. Like, wait, trading's not going good, but these are going good. You know what? I see he or she made it. Let me see, what can I work on so trading can actually go better for me?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now I see I see you on your gram a lot. You're traveling around. You're making your rounds, different countries, different states, different cities. Do you do a lot of trading and stuff on vacation?
Yes and no. Mm-hmm. I tend to enjoy the fruits of my labor, but again, it's also it's me wanting to expand and grow. So I do have my laptop with me, and the majority of the time we've been in Eastern Standard Time, except for Jamaica recently. So it wasn't difficult for me to just like, all right, let me wake up at this country. Okay, it's still 8 a.m. to me, so I'm able to place a trade whenever I see an opportunity. But I tend to just enjoy where I'm at and trade less. But I do trade, but I don't trade all the time. Like if let's say if I'm trading every day, I will probably trade like 1-2 days out of that week. If I see some big moves, and then from there just keep it going, enjoying where I'm at.
So essentially, what do you usually look for? Like, how do you know like what trades to look for, or is there some like certain news articles you look at, or certain news sources, or what?
Right,
How do you
great.
set up your trades?
So especially the way coronavirus, well, am I able to say pandemic?
I'm
Yes.
not sure. Yeah, I don't know all the YouTube
Uh,
rules yet, but we'll
hmm.
say the
so
we'll call it the situation.
yeah, the situation. Let's block out what I just said. So
Yeah. We'll call it the
due to
situation.
due to the situation, right? You
Yeah.
have the way the Fed, which is our central bank, the way they've been responding, they've been printing out tons of dollars, right? Trillions of dollars. So you really have more than 20% of the actual circulation of the dollar has been printed in last year alone, right? And that's from 1776. So that just shows you in 1 year we printed more than 20%. So that right there shows you that all that printing it raises inflation, right? So inflation is simple as this: if in January you go grocery shopping and you let's say you buy 5 things and it costs $20, right? And let's say 5 months later you go to the same grocery store, you buy those same groceries, and now instead of it being $20, it's let's say $40, right? That's inflation, right? So you're buying the same exact thing, your money is decreasing, you have low purchasing power. So understanding supply and demand, and I use that along with my technicals because being a technical analysis trader, I'm looking left, which is in the past, to see where the market's going to go in the future. So I have that set. Have my support resistance, and then I have like how to actual investors and what the world is responding to, and then from there, whenever I see opportunity, I go for it.
Interesting you say that, because I remember I think I was listening to Audible, Warren Buffett's book. I think it's called Snowball, and they were saying
I've
that
heard
this
of it.
guy
Yeah.
all he does is really he just goes through old newspapers and looks at the news so he can understand like the play that's going to happen in the future or in the
Yeah.
present, because he's like, oh, history always repeats itself. So
It's so crazy, but it really does though. It's like history really repeats itself, and it's like it's a quote that said, "History it doesn't fully repeat itself, but it often rhymes." And that's the same exact thing what it does. So it's like if we don't learn from history, we're bound to repeat the same mistakes. And the way the world is pretty much like so micro, they're micro, I don't want to say micro man, but more so just like their thoughts is like a microwave. Whereas like they just forget about what happened before, they want it right now. Right. So it's like if you don't think about the past and you just want everything right now, you're bound to repeat those same exact mistakes.
yeah, I agree. Everything just moves so much faster
well.
now. Yeah, information
Right,
moves so
right.
much
Even
faster.
the market does the same thing from what it did before. It may be a higher number, right? Let's say, 10 years ago, it went from 10 to 5 and then went to 15. Now it may go from 100 to 95 and then to 105. It's the same exact plays, but now the numbers are just different.
So you're just really a student of the game, a student of the history of the markets, and
You have to be.
and then you move from there.
Yeah, you have to be 100%. You have to be. If you're not a student of the game and a student of what happened in the past, again, you're bound to make the mistakes, and you don't want to make the same mistake that you did before. So then once you have that set, you move forward. I feel life is about learning from mistakes overall. It could be your mistakes, it could be someone else's mistakes, but that's someone else's experience. You learn from their experience, you learn from what helped out or what didn't help out, and you just twist it to your own way of living, and then you can move forward from there. But you have to be a student. That's just of life overall.
Right. Yeah, I would agree. And with that being said, like, who are the kind of the most influential people to you in that entrepreneurship space, or people that you've always are inspired by or looked up to?
My favorite entrepreneur for a very long time was Tai Lopez.
Tai
Very, very
Lopez.
long time. And mainly I watched this video one time, and I remember I was ironically, I'm here in Georgia now, but I was at my sister's house. It was for Thanksgiving, and I was on YouTube, and his ad just popped up, and it was like I'm looking at, I see a Lamborghini, I see books in the background. I'm like, I read books, and like I like fast cars, so he actually caught me into it. And I literally watched the entire thing. So from there, I was watching and I was like, wow, this guy is really good. And I just like follow him, the things he posts and how do he go about it. But now Grant Cardone, Grant is on another level. And it's like, his books. Can you see it? You can't see it. I got
No.
four of his books behind.
Yeah, I got all of them too. The 10x rule,
man,
and
the 10x is a game changer.
Yeah, for sure.
Be obsessed to be average. Sell to be so like so those things like you again you got to learn. And he learned from people from the past, and then also he made things flip into his own way of thinking, his own way of living, and from there he put in a book. So it's like, why not read it and take advantage of that? But yeah, It's Grant Cardone, hands down.
Yeah, and even to go back to Tai Lopez, like that was the first guy that really like took social media to the next level.
Yeah.
He's good at everything. Like he'll be on his story,
Yeah.
like hitting jumpers, and then he'll go to like the dojo and like whoop someone's ass. Like it's just like damn.
And then the great thing about it is that throughout the whole process, he's explaining, how this affect the mind and why it's, the psychological level of it. So yeah, like those little lessons I took from that. Like he's playing sports and everything, but then he'll tell you like, like the importance of it, or like even missing a shot. Like you're gonna miss a shot sometimes. You're not gonna make everything, but if you can go get a rebound, you can move forward. Like little things like that. And it's like, wow, that's a fact. Like it's so true.
I'm kind of curious to know like what are his L's? Cause he took some L's in his life.
Yeah,
he took huge L's to be Tai Lopez.
100%.
Yeah, we don't get to see that.
And it's like it's a gift and a curse, right? Like you have social media as a highlight reel. The gift about it is that you see what's possible, right? You see people shining. However, the bad part about it is that everyone takes L's, every single person.
Everybody takes
but we
L's.
don't show that. So it's like, the average individual, they can be watching someone, it's like, damn, he or she is always winning. I just lost bad. And it's like, again, that goes back to like, oh, I suck and everything. It's like, no, you don't suck. It's like more so like, that's just what they choose to show. Right. But just understand that they definitely take L's as well. If you want to win, you're going to take L's. And if you want to win more, you're going to take more L's. That's just the name of the game.
One of the best quotes I've ever heard, shout out to DJ Chris Styles. He told me this in college. He said that if you're always winning, that means you're playing in the wrong league. And I always thought about that. If you're always winning, then you got to up the ante because you have to get to the next, the next level.
A great point of that. No one talks about this, but Michael Jordan lost in the playoffs before.
All the time, like the first 7 years of his career.
Yeah, and then after that, he lost to Orlando.
Yeah, and he lost to Orlando. And without those L's, he couldn't be Michael Jordan. There's no way.
We just speak about the 7 ring. I mean, about the 6 rings.
Yeah,
that's all we think about. So yeah, if you look at it that way, if you just, what did he do to get to those 6 rings? How many playoffs did he lose? What did he actually mentally and physically go through to become Michael Jordan? So it's like that's a great point. Like we got to look at not just the win,
the body of work. Yeah, I think I was listening to Tim Grover's book. That Tim Grover is Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade's trainer.
Oh man,
it's a great book. I think it's called Relentless. And to your point, because he kept on every single year, Jordan was losing to Detroit every single year. So that's when he started really getting into the gym because he's like, these guys are beating me up, so I have to get stronger. So without those L's, he never would have had the thought to I got to get in the gym. So if he didn't have gotten in the gym, he never would have been Michael Jordan. So it's just like those L's you definitely learn from, and you need them to get to where you're going.
Yeah, those L's definitely, it leaves your legacy behind because you always remember your L's, right? Like let's say The Rock, he has a $7 story. You have Tom Brady. How many people he were picked over him. You're always going to remember your L's. Your L's is what's going to keep you motivated because when you're down, you're going to see yourself like, man, I remember this L I took. I don't want to go back to that spot, or I don't want to go back to that mental place in my life. And then from there, you move forward. Even myself, my L was $19. Right? I literally had $19 and what, 23 cents in my bank account. And that was my L.
Damn, you know it to the cent. Jeez. You remember that.
Man, I remember, man, I was driving home from the Jackie Robinson one day, and I was on the phone with one of my boys, and they asked for money. I'm like, yeah, I got you. And I went to go check my balance, and I had that, and I was like, I can't do this again.
Man. Yeah. Those days.
That, but yeah, that was that.
Mm-hmm.
They're gone. But again, like you have to just remind yourself of those times. It's like as you move forward, again, like new levels, new devils, right? So it's like as you move forward, you're always gonna have a low point, but your old highs is now your new lows. And if you use that to move forward and keep going up that ladder, you'll stay more consistent with growing because you're saying to yourself, like, man, I remember one time when I couldn't go to a restaurant like this. Right. I was like, I would go to let's say TGI. I'm not no shade on TGI, but let's say I go to TGI and
it's not prime.
Like $50. Right. Spend like $50 at TGI. It's like, yo, I'm eating good. Now it's like, that becomes your new low. And then as you increase, another becomes your new low and then so forth. So again, new levels require new devils.
Yeah. And it also requires you become a new person as well. You can't go back to being the same old person that you were, because you're not that person anymore. So you're kind of forced to move differently. You have to move differently.
Unless you're just stuck in your ways, right? Which is to be in your comfort zone. And that's something that a lot of people are in, right? There's like, they let years and decades go by and then they look back and they said, man, I wish I would have did X, Y, Z. I would have did this differently. And it just boils down to comfort. Like more people, especially now, people are too comfortable and they don't realize how much is affecting them until they look back and they live a life of regret.
Yeah, very true.
That was deep.
That's
yeah, it just came out. But yeah, that's how it is. It's like people are really like that. Like this, they live this whole life and they just like, I wish I would have done this differently.
So does that kind of motivate you, or does it come from the fear of I guess failing or losing?
Yes and no. So I know that my loss is going to happen. Like, you know, the other day I took a really big loss as well. And, you know, it got to me, but it didn't get to me how I used to, because I understood, you know, what I was risking. I understood, you know, all right, I'm risking X amount of dollars to make, you know, it was a substantial amount of money. I understood that. Nobody wants to lose, but you know, it does happen, especially when you are looking to increase, you have to increase your risk management as well, or your risk tolerance. So it was just me, you know, it was me putting my feet into a different type of pool, you know, deeper pools. Like, you know, let me dip my feet into it and see it. And it took a nice L, but I understood that, okay, this is going to happen by me being in this pool, right? And again, that's getting out of my comfort zone. So it's more of like, it's not a fear, but it is a fear. So I'm not going to pretend as if I'm not fearful. Like, we're all fearful. We have a fear of something, right? And then some of us use it to motivate us to move forward. Some of us use it to like actually keep us in our comfort zone. So it boils down to actually how you viewing and how you utilizing that fear.
That's an interesting perspective on it. So with your knowledge and your experience and what you've been able to put together and accomplish for yourself, I know you started kind of teaching. You started offering services for people who want to get into trading and investing. Can you talk a little bit about what you have to offer, what your course is?
Oh yeah, I have an investing course as well as a trading course. So each one obviously is different. So the investing course, it shows you, you know, invest in cryptocurrency, invest in the stock market, you know, doing what's needed to build generational wealth. You have a tax-free accounts, you know, that you can invest to as well and utilize, you know, for retirement. And then you also have the trading aspect of it, right? So it shows really the markets, how I read the markets. Going to, I have weekly group calls, I have individual calls, everything that I use, you know, to get to where I'm currently at and moving forward, I put that into my course, right? And as of now, I mean, I'm over 20. I'm over 20. I don't know the exact number. I used to know it by heart. It's I think I'm pushing. I think I'm in the 30s. I'm not sure. I know for a fact. Last time I counted was like 22. And that was the end of 2020. That was the end of 2020. And I know this year I had ridiculous amount of students who are full time, right? So again, wow, I know nice. it's a lot of students full time. And again, it's great because it shows that, you know, I can do this for myself, but I can also teach others how to do the same exact thing. And right, and then I have, you know, hundreds of students who are just, you know, they're making money. They're not full time yet, but they're still making enough money to move forward. It could be like ranging from an extra $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, and so forth. Sometimes like it's just a secondary source of income for them to utilize and move forward with.
Yeah, because I think that's a question that people always want to find out is like, how much money can you really make trading or investing, especially as a beginner?
Well, it's really no true way to answer that as a trader, you know, how much you can make, because it's really no cap. Like, it depends on how much you're risking. You can make an extra $100,000, $1 million. It's really no cap. So that's the great thing about trading, is that there's no limit to how much you can make. It really just boils down to you as the individual. Same thing with investing, right? The only thing with investing is like 2020 changed the game, right? So we're seeing like, you know, 100% returns and like this. That's not normal. But again, these things do happen.
Nothing's normal. Yeah, so it was a normal year.
Right. You got to take advantage of the opportunity when it's given. So same thing with investing. Like, you have people who have been invested for 30 years, right? And they're still holding on to those investments. So there's no limit on that as well. Like, the financial markets alone is where you're making money at. 100%. That's where you're making money. Like, the most millionaires and billionaires, they make their money from the financial markets. So if they make their money from the financial markets and they're the millionaires and billionaires of this world, you should look at that and do the same exact thing.
Got it. And what's a good like starter budget to start off with? Like how much?
I recommend 1,500 should be a good start for you to go into trading, investing as well. Even hey, let's just say this. Even if it's like an extra $50 that you have for investing, right? You can even do something small as that, right? That can be, you can put that into, because now majority of all these brokers, what they do, they now have in which like what you can actually utilize with the money. You don't have to buy an entire share of a company or entire crypto, right? Let's say like Bitcoin. Let's say it's like $20,000, more than that. I don't know the time of us recorded, I believe it's like 44. So $44,000 per Bitcoin. You don't have to buy an entire Bitcoin. You can buy a percentage of that. So now let's say Bitcoin goes from like 44,000 to like 50,000. That's $6,000 gain that you just made. It's not gonna be 6,000, for how much you put in. But if you put in $100, obviously you're gonna make money, right? So same thing with stocks. If a stock costs, like Amazon costs, $3,000, you don't have to buy an entire share. You can buy something as small as $50, and as your Amazon stock share goes up, that $50 investment goes up as well. So as an investor, I say, what you should do, you should you should create a budget, right? You should look at what's coming in, look at what's going out strategically. If you're getting paid, twice a month, let's say $1,000, you're getting paid $1,000 every paycheck. So this is actually gonna be a quick breakdown of it too. You get paid $1,000, each paycheck, you're bringing in $2K, right? Let's say your expenses and your bills comes up to, let's say $1,500, right? After everything is set. You now have above water $500, right? So just be mindful of that. Now that 500, if you invest that 500 every month, you can go about doing so. If you want to take a little bit of that and invest it, you go about doing so as well. But you have to know how much money is coming in and how much money is going out before you do anything. Because what you don't want to do is, and this happens all the time, like especially with credit card, people put themselves in more credit card debt because they are not aware of how much money is coming in. They just look at the credit card limit and they say to themselves, like, if my limit is 10,000 and I'm only making, 2,000, I'm only making 2,000 a month. Like, no, you're going to be underwater if you spend a whole 10,000
real quick. Yep.
Yeah. But if you just understand that, like, hey, I make 2,000 a month, the most I can do is after my expenses, 500, that's my limit. So once you have that, say you have an idea of it, I highly recommend just invest the rest of it into an account. It could be, stocks. It could be, an IRA account. It could be other savings accounts, something that's going to have your money grow for you. Especially now too, like you have savings accounts, like you leave your money in the bank, you're making what, 0.04%?
Yeah, like
year?
Nothing. Yeah.
It's like, what is that? It's not even a penny.
Yeah.
Like not even a percentage. But if you put it into different and invest it into these accounts, it could be crypto, it could be a stock market, something that's going to have your money work for itself, you're going to make that like this.
That's what I always thought that's funny about the bank is that they'll take people's money and then they'll take it to invest in higher yield.
Yeah, it's funny because like even that, like they're only required to like keep like 10% of your bread. Everything else, they're doing what everyone else wants to do. It's like invest in money. Like, oh, you want to give me $100? Let me take $90 there and go invest it. That's what they're gonna do because it's a business. They're gonna make their money. They're gonna make sure they make their money before you get your money. Like, have you ever tried to go to the bank and you can't take your money out?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like they
like, how can I not take my money out?
Yeah, that was one of the Chris Rock jokes. Like he was saying, the ATM won't even talk to you unless you could get like a certain amount out. You can't even use it.
Crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy, man. Yeah, ATM is a whole different story. You paying a fee to access your money. That's
to get your own money, or even overdrafts. Like they charge you for not having money. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
The whole financial system is funny.
Yeah. So what's next up for you? What's some goals you're looking to accomplish, and where do you see yourself?
Well, I'm getting married next year.
Oh, congrats.
Thanks. So right now everything is pretty much like setting in for like the honeymoon. And then from there, we're going to be moving, where we live at now, we're moving to a bigger house. And that's, nice. Something that's going to be looking for that. Traveling more as well, definitely expanding my reach. So now that I've taken like a little break from traveling, I'm going more and like diving down into like, doing more interviews, doing more speaks, it could be in person, it could be on a Zoom. So doing more of that, because my main thing, especially to answer your question full circle, I want to become that individual. Is like when you look about investing, or you think about trading, you think about me. That's what I want. Like when you think about real estate, you think about Grant Cardone. So when you think about trading, you think about investing, you think about Hansome Kelly. That's what I want to have. And again, I know it's not going to be a walk in the park, right? I have to put the time into it, whether it's expanding my reach, meeting new people, networking, utilizing my resources, expanding my risk tolerance as well. So I know these things are going to come with it. So I'm prepared and ready for it, man.
Right. Just doing the process, really.
Yeah.
But just the fact that you say that now you can, or the fact that you understand that now you can make the proper steps to make that happen. I always say like admitting is the first step. So if that's what you want to be, now you can move toward it because you know what you want to do.
Yeah, I got so much of it written down, like literally written down. It's kind of psychotic if you think about it. Like my phone and my notes, it's so much of it, like literally step by step, what I need to do, how I need to go about it. I study a lot. Like I study people a lot, especially those who are like, you know, in the field and where I'm where I want to be. I studied them, like literally study their stories, like, oh, like why he or she did it like this. Like, what can I learn from that? Right? How can I apply it to what works for me? And then from there, just it's about consistency though. That's like the thing, because you know, it's just like you know, going to conferences, right? You can get motivated for like a week, right? Then that motivation is gonna die out. It's like, what are you gonna do after that motivation dies out? You're gonna go back to your old habits, right? So it's like it's really about just like understanding your habits. How can I break these bad habits? And then how can I stay consistent to break these bad habits? And then how can I be held accountable to break those bad habits and stay consistent? It's like, yeah, it's those little things, but it creates the whole organism of you and how you want to hit your success. So you definitely have to go about reaching that and making that happen, but it's about staying consistent.
So what is your process, or what has helped you become more consistent or disciplined?
My fiance is definitely she's a time management coach, so she stays on me.
You gotta be disciplined.
It's a cheat code.
You ain't got no choice. You ain't got no choice.
It's a cheat code. You know, I have access to her all the time.
Yeah.
You know, well, when we're both not working, so that right there is beneficial. But besides that, it's like, you know, writing your goals down and reading it. And I don't mean like just writing it somewhere and just forgetting about it, you know, because what people do is this, right? They treat their head as a filing cabinet, right? Like they have these thoughts. Like, you ever been in the shower, you have this amazing thought. You get out the shower and you're like, damn, what was I saying? Like, that's what people do, right? So it's like, you just write it down, like physically write it down, and then just like look at it over and 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 over, and just remember that. Like, so when these days do happen, it's like, what am I working towards? Oh, I'm working towards this. Let me go do it.
Yeah, I think honestly, I write everything down because I've seen that just changed. Like I seen a Steve Harvey YouTube like a couple years ago, and he was just like, "Hey, look, write stuff down." And I was like, "All right, cool." I started doing that, and then I would find like old notes around in different drawers, and I'd be like, "Oh snap! I accomplished this. I accomplished this. I accomplished this." But like, yeah, I can't stress about writing stuff down enough. I got so much stuff I write down all the time. So that's definitely
everything.
Yeah, you gotta write stuff down. If you don't write stuff down, you're losing. You're losing for sure.
Yeah. You have to. You got to know.
Unless you're Jay-Z. Unless you're Jay-Z, you should be writing stuff down.
Jay-Z is different. But you gotta know where you're currently at, right? And then also in your journey. Because if you aren't aware of where you're at now, how can you move forward? It's impossible. Right? You're literally like a hamster on a hamster wheel. You think you're moving forward, but you're not moving nowhere because you just like, you don't know what's going on around you, besides the fact that I'm on a wheel.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But so you say your fiance's helped you become disciplined. Is anything that was kind of a cheat code for you for consistency and discipline?
Losing. I mean, I don't like losing. You know, I mean, it's kind of weird because I know it happens in this field, but not even just like losing overall. Like, it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. It sucks that like we normalize losing in a good way. Like, oh, it's okay. No, it's not. That sucks. Like, it really does suck. Like, I don't know. I just don't like that feeling of like losing. And it's like, you know, sometimes well, I'm being told I'm hard on myself. But I feel it's more about I use it as fuel, because no one's gonna really get my results unless I do the work needed to get my results. So like when people tell me, you know, you're hard on yourself and everything, it's like, you're not gonna do the work for me. I'm gonna do the work for me. So I'm using this as fuel. Like, you could be hard on yourself and not move forward, right? Because that does happen as well. But if you're hard on yourself just enough that's like, understand that, all right, I lost right now. How did I lose? Right? Let me look back and see how I lost. All right, I lost because of this. Let me not repeat this no more. All right, what can I do differently? Same exact thing. Like I said, I made a left, I hit a pothole. Let me not make a left no more. Yeah. Right? Because again, I'm learning from the past. The streets are gonna repeat themselves. Right? I'm gonna drive again and see something very similar to that what I just did in the past. Let me not make that left. Let me make it right instead. So those little things that I use to just like consistently stay and move forward with that. And again, it does happen in which, like, sometimes, lack of consistency does happen, but that's when discipline goes into effect, right? Once that discipline muscle goes in, again, it's just about staying consistent with that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think you really hit the nail right on the head. And the thing is that, like, when people say like you're kind of too hard on yourself, like like what's the alternative to that? Like, what am I supposed to be easy on myself?
Nothing.
Like, no one, like you said, no one's gonna do the work for you.
No one at all. And it's like, man, it was so funny. Like, I think I get that from my mom. Like growing up, single parent household. It was 3 of us, and from there, man, looking back, and I didn't realize how poor we were until I would actually like look back and like, oh wow, that's not normal. Like, lights being out, that's not like no kid should experience that, or like eating certain stuff like for dinner, or like, like that's not a normal thing for a kid to go through. But understanding that, and then like, my mom, she was by herself, right? She literally had no help, until like like later on, but in that short time span, not short, long time span, it was just her. And I like from these conversations, I knew how much she was making. So whenever I'm like really going through, I'm saying to myself, like, you're stressing over this? Like, your mother had 3 kids at this age and she did, X, Y, Z, and you're stressing over this? Like, come on, pick it up. Yeah. Like, let's get going, So again, like, even now, like, I would, conversation with mom, and it's like going. It's like, I'm like, Mom, like, you got to stop. And it's like, is this what she knows? And is she still there within me? It's like, so it's really what I know. Some people may think it's toxic. It works out for me. So, I'm going to keep doing it until it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way too with my pops. He was in Vietnam, 18 years old. He gets a letter from the United States government talking about he's going to Vietnam. So it's like, I looked at it like, man, I got nothing to complain about when I'm stressed. Right? Like, I can't, like, I can't even complain to this guy. I can't vent to this man, because he's gonna be like, yo,
we got it.
That's so, what you're worried about.
We're so privileged, man.
Like, super privileged, man.
This like, alone, we're so privileged, man.
Ridiculous. All the answers are here. All the answers.
It's so funny. Like, and again, I answer every question. I don't think any question is a bad question, but there's some things in which is like, bro, you could have Googled this.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, how I feel like if you don't take the time out to Google something, that you could have like, you asked me, but if you don't take time out to Google it, it shows you're really serious about it. Because the first thing you should do is like, let me Google this. Once you're stuck on Google, because so much information, let me ask this person now for advice, right? But if you're just, the first thing is like, let me go to Google. I'm not let me go to Google, but first thing is let me go to an individual. It's like, bro, come on, Google it. So it's like little stuff like that. But again, like we come to a generation which we normalize all of this. We normalize laziness. We normalize being in our comfort zone. We normalize all these other things. It's like social media doesn't make it any better, because you could, man, it's so sad, but you can fake almost everything.
Yeah, they're getting a false sense of what's really going on. And to your point, like, one of my pet peeves is like when I talk to like someone on a customer service line, and they're like, "Sorry, sir, we can't do this," and I'm just like, yes, you can. Everything's possible. Right? Like it's in your mind that like, just solve the problem for me. I don't understand.
Yeah,
you can solve it. Though. You definitely can solve it. Like,
this is in your pay grade.
Yeah, they're just not there.
They don't want to. It's like, we want to be comfortable.
But I think they just don't even understand They don't understand, like, okay, you just find a solution. That's all it comes down to. Find a solution to something. Whether you got to Google it, whether you got to YouTube it, whether you got to talk to your supervisor, your manager, just figure it out. Like,
the funny thing is that if you solve enough problems, you're going to make a lot more money.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So people don't look at it that way. Like, look at Amazon. Amazon solving all these problems, and then we get mad. It's funny with this whole rich thing, right? It's like, people are upset with the rich. And the whole thing about it is this. For starters, everybody's mad at the rich, but they want to be rich themselves to see the feeling.
Yeah.
That's the first thing, right? Then secondly, is like, you guys are using these products.
That's what I'm saying. I'm assuming you're talking about Jeff Bezos going to space, right? That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can't believe it.
Clap for that man, yo.
Amazon. If you really feel the way, stop by. You're not going to, so it's like,
clap for that man.
Why are you talking about it? Come on. It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. Even when I started seeing stuff like that, it's like, yo, why are you so mad at him? I would go to space too if I could at the end of the day.
Yeah,
but he's helped enough people. I have an Amazon store. I make money off of Amazon. So he's helped me. So if you want to go to space, bro, go by all means, go to space.
and that's the thing. Like if you help enough people, you're going to get to the level of success you want to. And that's
Value
the
in the
whole thing. It's like
marketplace.
and I know like ridiculous numbers that I want to make. It's like even like billionaire status is going to happen,
Yeah.
right? It's gonna happen in time, right? And that's just because of the fact that how many people I affect and help out. Eventually, I'm going to get to that status. It may not
Right.
happen tomorrow, it may happen, years, decades from now, but eventually it's going to happen because I'm going to make it my mission to help as many people as possible that I perfectly can while I'm alive. And then
Right.
from there, everything is said. Just again, I'm going to hit those levels.
And there's also so many new access, like there's so many accesses to new markets that and they're all like volatile. Like you can like buy some NFT one day and it just shoots up, or you can buy cryptocurrency and it just comes out of nowhere. So it's like
the ways you can make money in this world it's insane.
there's
It's
so much
really
access
insane.
to money nowadays that it's like it's inevitable.
Sometimes it's overwhelming. Honestly, it's like so many ways you can make it. It's like, man, where do I actually start? But then again, it's all about you actually starting. So some people get so overwhelmed where to go that there's no direction, right? You're like
Say that again. Say that again. We might have to chop that up and put that on IG or something. That was a jam.
Like so many people, like someone saying you go left, someone saying you go right, someone saying you go straight. You're like, where do I go? That you're not going at all. And next thing you know, you look back and you're like, man, I could have went left, I could have went right. It's like, just take a direction. And that's the thing about mentorship as well. It's like following all these people. It's great, but it's not great. The pro is that you have so much knowledge coming in. The con is that, like, again, you have so much knowledge coming in, you're not moving at all, right? You're just standing still. And again, now you're going to be the hamster on the hamster wheel. You think you're moving forward, but you're not going anywhere. So I recommend, those listening, just go one direction. Take that route, and then learn from those in that route. And then once that route no longer works for you, then go switch course.
Yeah, the example I always like to use is like, suppose you're trying to learn how to play basketball and you got a mentor who's Shaq and you have a mentor who's Steph Curry. They're both successful, but they have two completely different games.
That's good.
So if you try to follow the both of them, then you're kind of going to get stuck between something that might not fit you particularly. It only fits them because they're them,
That's the clip right there, man. That's what you got to crop out. That's the clip right there. That was good.
I'm here all night, people.
Real good. I like that one. But 100%, just like that. Like you're going to reach that. But again, one is a center, one is a shooter. So figure out which lane you want to go and go with that.
Right. Exactly.
But at the end of the day, you have to move. At the end of the day, you got to do something.
You got to keep moving forward.
You're lying to yourself. You're gonna hit the results you're gonna hit. You're lying. Mm-hmm. And that's again added to that though. With social media is like social media. It's a gift and a curse because it's so easy to fake things that people they just like they're faking it, but they're not really doing anything to move themselves forward. Right? They're taking all like I'm happy, all stuff, but the reality is like you're not even doing nothing. So it's like, what are you really doing? And at the end of the day, like just like Jay-Z said, you got flash now, but time to reveal money. Right. So it's like you're flashing now, but truth is always going to come out. Yeah. It's always going to come out. Always.
Yeah. That's one thing I learned, like just even living in Miami, coming from Philadelphia and then coming here, I just realized like how things are just really not what it seems at all. And it's just everything's like a lot of times like a complete facade.
I heard about you guys down there.
Yeah. It's crazy. So, Yeah, you gotta be careful. And just stay your course, and you just know that not everything that glitters is gold.
Oh yeah. That's just everywhere. Not even just on Miami, but again, as we just said, it's like, and that's one thing too. Like, you can't fake a certain type of lifestyle. Like, you can't fake traveling to what? How many countries we've been to? I think we're at 12. You can't fake that. Yeah. Right. It's like you can go to a hotel with you and your boys, rent out a room, right? Take different pictures in a room, you can do that.
Share the
right?
chain.
Yeah, you can rent out a car, it's like five of you guys, put a few dollars each, rent a car, change your outfits, right? Take pictures in that car, driving stuff. You can fake that.
And people really do that. Like people do that. Like,
no, they do.
What? Like, damn, like what are you doing all this for?
It's so sad though, man. But it's like social media, the guys think that we have to do this to succeed. And it's like, bro, you're not going to succeed. What you're doing, you're wasting money. You're feeding somebody else's pockets. That's what you're doing. You're not doing anything for yourself to move yourself forward.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So let's wrap up. Where can we find you, and where can we find your courses?
My courses is hansomekelly.com. You can find me everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, wherever, social media is at, Hansome Kelly _. Now it's 1_ I spell my name Hansome, HANSOME, KLY _ because there's a lot of fake pages out there. Please
I saw they start popping up on you. They might have to give you that blue check.
Right? I'm waiting for it, man. Come on, Instagram.
Man.
I'm knocking on it, man.
Check, man.
Let's get it. It sucks because like 6 people so far hit me up saying that they sent the money thinking it was me, and it's like,
damn. Yeah, sorry.
It sucks, man. But it's so many people out here scamming people, man. That's like their profession, right? They're going out there impersonating to be somebody else. But you gotta find me, Hansome Kelly everywhere, Hansome Kelly _ my website is hansomekelly.com.
Awesome. And can we get a coupon code for our viewers here for the courses?
Yeah. So if you type in hansomekelly.com, you go to any course that you want, / putting a coupon code Jared Never Sleeps, and you'll get let's do 30% off of all the courses. You put Jared Never Sleeps.
Awesome. You heard that here first. Hansome Kelly's course is 30% off using the coupon code Jared Never Sleeps. Hansome, thank you so much. We gotta do this again sometime. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is fun, man. Appreciate
I learned
you
a lot.
me.
I learned a lot for sure.
Got some gems. We gotta start cropping them out as well. Throw them out there.
The gems are coming. So that wraps it up, people. Thanks for watching. Make sure you follow this page and make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification bell to get notified. And when we drop all these really cool interviews I'm having. Thanks for watching. Working Title with Jared Never Sleeps. I'll see you soon.
Peace.